It was a major franchise in the 2000s, and apparently they're making a new Shrek coming out.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
Yeah, which is
Shrek
interesting.
5.
So
is it a reboot or a sequel? Because I've heard both.
From what I've understood, it's just a sequel of a sequel of a sequel of a sequel of a sequel.
Okay, because they kind of set that up in the second Puss in Boots, which is actually very, very good.
I've heard.
It was a very good movie, and the animation was fantastic, and I was shocked at how good it was. But.
Right, and the Puss in Boots movie, I've heard a lot of the exact same things. Man, it's a really great movie. My kids went and saw it, and they loved it. But before Shrek became what he is today, they had to do all sorts of tests and stuff, and there's been footage that has been leaked of the original test animation of Shrek. Now, for context, I think it's important for us to actually see what Shrek finished looking like. So this is what he looks like now. This is what he looks like today. He's kind of like...
Onions have layers.
Layers. That's right. And he's got his lovable donkey character here. He's so nice and happy. You know, it wasn't always that way, but he was, Shrekish, right? So let's take a look at what is being... what we found on the internet. Once again, this is the Shrek test animation. And so from the YouTube channel Zoom Art Studio. By the way, I'm going to play this with no audio because there's copyrighted audio in it, and I don't want to get flagged by YouTube. But just know that he's dancing along here. So here we are. This is the original footage, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. By the way, it has that like 90s look to it, late 90s look, maybe early 2000s.
PlayStation cutscene. Oh my God.
Oh. Is that Chris Farley talking?
No, it's not. It's just a generic guy, and you'll hear him here in a second. I'll actually bring him up just for this because he came in dancing to I Feel Good. I Feel Good. No, the James Brown song, I think. Here we go. Let's listen to this real quick. I feel good. Give me your little fat boy. There you go. So
terrifying.
God.
Definitely a different look when it comes to the look of Shrek right there compared to what he finished as right there. Let me bring that back down. And then he just continues. But you can see what they're going for here with just kind of the overall movement of them. Obviously CGI is not what it was not what it is today. But just general thoughts on Shrek's overall look and how much it's changed, specifically from this, to this. It's a pretty drastic. Neon, what are your thoughts on that? You're literally covering your mouth.
Obviously, they ran this through the gauntlet, and some people said, "Yeah, that's going to terrify. That's going to terrify kids. That's going to turn audiences away. Don't do that." Yeah, it looks to me like they're trying to go for like that Terry Pratchett Discworld video game kind of Monty Python looking cartoon character, and it just doesn't. I don't think anybody could sit through 2 hours of that. And I think that's probably what they looked at. They're probably like, yeah, we got to make these characters a little more relatable. I know a lot of people say that Shrek 1 especially had kind of Uncanny Valley thing going for it, but for the time it was pretty good. I mean, you're talking what, was it 2001, I think, when that came out?
Yeah.
And it was way ahead of everything else. Except for Final Fantasy, but nobody watched that.
I watched it.
Plus, what'd you think?
Two people watched it.
It's not good.
Do you feel like they changed that Flash to scare less children? Was that the idea? No, did we lose Flash?
She's muted.
Oh, am I muted? No, okay.
What? You're talking to Flash?
Yeah, no, I was talking to Flash. Yeah, Flash, did we lose you?
Oh, I thought you said Blabs.
No, I'm sorry. Flash, what were your thoughts on that?
It looked awful. It reminded me of Sonic the Hedgehog. Remember that?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the first thought that came to my mind because that first design was awful. It was so bad. And it's kind of the same way. Imagine if that had came out instead of the regular one. I wonder how people would have taken that movie.
Right. They wouldn't have. It would have bombed. I mean, you could take one look at that and been like, that would have failed.
Yeah, that's so bad.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Oh my gosh, they did such a good job of reworking it. That was a really good example of totally reworking it and taking their time to do it right. And it obviously has paid off as they're going into sequels here. But it's amazing to see how you can take a character that looked so bad and was so legit unlikable. I mean, the only thing you heard him say was "bite me," and then this thing flies off in the sky. He's literally doing harm. I mean, this guy, the old Shrek, looks like, man, I don't even know what to say about this guy. I mean, they kept
looks
they
like
kept his ears, yeah,
an old man.
right, yeah, doesn't look pleasant at all. And
That's
the idea of
Craig in
making
40 years.
you got a big old
Yeah.
dog.
They probably took a look at him and they're like, yeah, this is a character that goes through an arc, and you have to kind of like him. And there's nothing likable about this version of the character, And
I think it's fun to see something, before it moved really far along into the process, like what they were kind of looking at doing. And I think that was more of like a concept thing. Like, I don't think they were ever wed to that.
No, absolutely. It was just a test animation for
Yeah.
sure. But and you could see by the way it was moving, it had it was doing the whole dance moves and stuff. That was very advanced for that time period. I mean, once again, we're talking about if the original movie came out in 2001, they're animating this for 2 or 3 years. So that's probably 1997, 98, maybe, when they're putting these tests together. So, you put this back in perspective to what you saw on the PlayStation at the time. It was pretty impressive. Now it looks archaic compared to what you see today, but I also would say that the original Toy Story looks archaic compared to what you see today as well.
It really does.
Yeah, it's very, very different. And a lot of times, you just have to sell a studio on the concept. Just be like, look, we can do animation, we'll work out the bugs, but here's what we put together over the weekend. Give us millions of dollars.
Right.
By the way, yes. Found some interesting info about Shrek. So it was supposed to be what you guys see. That's like Chris Farley's version, right? Before he died. And then they cast Mike Myers. And apparently, according to his website of canceledmoviesfandom.com, Mike Myers didn't want to work on someone else's script. So he asked the script to be completely rewritten. And that's why we have the final version of Shrek. So it's a complete rebranding from everything.
Yeah.
Sense. And that version of Shrek, the version we have today, kind of resembles Mike Myers in kind of a way. I wouldn't say that version of this version of Shrek resembles Chris Farley in any way, shape, or form. But I think it's definitely understand why that would be for sure. Have you guys ever seen the Chris Farley voiceover work done for Shrek?
Yeah, I've seen a
years
clip.
ago. Yeah,
I've seen a clip of it. But I think they just took his voice and kind of just put it over a picture. I don't think there was anything moving.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was just some stills, but it's interesting to see the character evolve for sure. Yes,
I wish they would release it. I wish we could get stuff like that as a special feature on a home release, like Back to the Future. I'd love to see all of the footage they shot with Eric Stoltz.
But what do you think about this? Leave us a comment down below. We read every single one of them. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe button because you have found your home for common sense in the gaming and entertainment worlds.